Dudes. Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello. I am Big Sheeps bringing you another episode of Sheep's Clothing. This week, our special guests are going to be members of Thumbscrew, and I'm very excited about tonight's show. Been listening to these guys for probably over a decade. Let me know in the comments if my audio and everything sounds alright. I've got everything pulled up here. Hopefully this one goes smooth. Unfortunately, Dylan will not be joining me tonight because he is on vacation with his family. So I don't have somebody else looking out to see if everything's going alright. So if you guys could be helpful, and if you don't hear audio, let me know. If you hear audio, let me know. If somebody's cutting out or anything of that nature, I would appreciate it very much. I would also appreciate if you guys could give this video a share on some of your favorite groups, people that may appreciate what content I am sharing with them tonight. And just, we're all just here to have a good time, and let's try to keep it that way. Last week, some of you may have seen that I went to go see Arsonist Get All the Girls. Got this dope shirt. Very sick. We had a surprise interview scheduled that we were our first live interview, but due to some unfortunate events, that ended up not happening. But I did have a great time at the show. I did get to chat with them, hang out with them a little bit, and I'm sure we will reschedule for the future. But damn, I don't know if you guys have been able to see, if you guys have seen them coming around, or if you see them coming to your town, definitely go check it out, because they haven't skipped a fucking beat. I think it was 3 years, 4 years or something on hiatus, and man, it was a fucking amazing show. We got some live footage that maybe we'll be releasing eventually. I'm not exactly sure, but all in all, it was a fun time. I got to meet Keith, our residential lurk and graphic design and anything else that he can handle. He handles very well. Keith used to run the Apparatus blog, and we are very thankful to have him helping us out with our little bullshit. In other news, we did not have a show last week. We had something, like I said, we had something special scheduled, but it didn't happen. It was my birthday last week. Not much else on my end. Poopy, I do not believe will not be joining us tonight. I guess from what I hear, a car crashed into his house. So I don't know about that, but like I said, if you guys could please give this a share to get a few more people in here, it would be incredibly helpful. Share it in your favorite group if they're not going to yell at you for sharing things. Share it to your page if you have people on your page who might like Thumbscrew or, I don't know, podcasting or something. Because we are always looking for some new eyeballs and ears. So I don't know if everybody's had a chance to also join the MySpace Revival group. I started this group maybe a month and a half ago, and we're at almost 1,000 members. But I do have to say, all the members in this group are fucking quality members. I actually just posted last night at like 3 in the morning, or no, I think it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. I posted a post in there saying, hey, if you're in a band, link your band into this thread. And there's fucking probably 30 comments of some of the best music I've ever heard. It's absolutely insane to know that the following from Sheep's Clothing and the following in the MySpace Revival is filled with just such quality members. It's insane to me. It's really cool to be in a place where I can post a band that I like, and then a member of that band will probably comment on my post and be like, oh, hey, it's cool that you're posting this, or whatever, we suck, or this and that. Thank you, Sean, for noticing my dope Converge piece on the wall. It was a Valentine's gift from my fiance, right here. This is that's a Holy Mountain flyer. That's like 100 years old. But it's one of my favorite pieces as well. Everything else on my wall behind me is from my tattoo artist or other tattoo artists from the same shop. Sadly, he moved to Seattle. And I'm also sorry if you can hear these strange clicking in the background of my office. It is all the critters that are inside of this fucking tiny room. Alright, let's see if the guys are ready to do this interview, get the show on the road. It's kind of hard to sit here and talk to myself. I hate doing it. What's happening? So, like I told you, you probably won't be able to see me throughout this interview. Let me get us squared up here so everybody's on screen. Right on. Okay, so why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Daniel, Drew, it is an absolute pleasure to meet you. I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show or not, but like I said, I've been listening to Thumbscrew for probably over a decade now, and it's been an absolute pleasure, and I appreciate everything you guys have done. So what are some of the other projects that you've been in? Before, since, anything that's worth noting? My bad. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. It seems like we're having an audio issue right now. I can hear you, but the viewers can't. So let me just correct that real quick. Yeah, I know what's going on. It'll be alright. There we go. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
Alright, so could you go ahead and introduce yourself one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm Daniel.
Drew.
Daniel, Drew, thank you very much for showing up tonight.
I'm
trying to recap here real quick. I've been listening to Thumbscrew for 10 years. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. What were some of the bands that you were in before or after Thumbscrew?
Yeah, so Thumbscrew was my first band that I was ever in. And after Thumbscrew, took some time off and just joined a new project here in Austin called Designs.
Right on. What kind of music would you say Designs is?
We're still heavy, you know. still doing some heavy stuff. I would probably say, shit. That's always a hard question to ask.
Yeah, people really hate answering genre-related questions.
It's got a little bit of like southern like thing to it. Like it reminds me like it has some of the same kind of spastic elements, but also like stuff that felt like early like Chariot.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Norma or Chariot.
Yeah, totally some stuff like
it is
guitar work for sure. Feels like that.
One of the guitar players in the band, Steven, he was also in Thumbscrew.
Cool.
Yeah.
See, I like to tell everybody this before we really get too far into the interview. The entire point of me doing this podcast is because from, like we were mentioning before when we were trying to set up Skype and we couldn't figure out how to use it, we come from a time when there wasn't, great quality camera phones. There wasn't any kind of social media was there, but it wasn't what it is today. So it's not, everything wasn't shareable. Everything wasn't. A lot of people were recording stuff on VHS and having to upload those grainy shits to YouTube eventually. So what we try to do is we try to create more viewable content for these bands. Like some of the, I don't know if you got a chance to go through a roster and see any of the other bands that we've interviewed, but it's all from the same era, and it's stuff like Tower of Rome. Tower of Rome's an amazing band, but if you type Tower of Rome into YouTube, you see like a couple ripped files and like one video of them in a school playing a show. You know what I mean? And so
if you try to search us, I think we have like a couple of videos, and like I try to find live videos of us all the time because like we were kind of known for our stage.
There's a band out there now called Thumbscrew.
I was going to ask you about that. It's like a 3-piece jazz thing with like the members look like they're like 40 years old. It's crazy.
Well, more power to them, I guess.
I thought it was strange to have a jazz band named Thumbscrew, but anyway, like I was saying, so I don't know fucking anything about you guys. I don't know anything about any of the other bands that I'm interviewing, besides the fact that they've always made really great music, and occasionally if they came through town, I got a chance to pick up some merch and talk with them, or smoke some pot with the guys, or do whatever. And that's the only way that I really knew who the fuck any of these members from any of these bands were. So, like most bands that I interview, when I think about them, I don't know anything about them besides the fact that like I downloaded some torrents back in fucking like 98 to 2003 and found, this awesome band, and I've just, had burnt CDs or just found the torrent again or whatever, MP3s or whatever, and that's what I've hung on to for so many years. And I know that there's a lot of people like me, so that's why I like to kind of do this like behind the music-esque style thing, And so if there's anything that I'm not knowledgeable about, like, just forgive me about it, And so let's just proceed from there.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, how do you feel about somebody else using the name Thumbscrew as a jazz ensemble?
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I was not an original member. I didn't have any partaking in the name, so I think I'll defer to Daniel's remarks on that one.
It's 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, let them have it.
Yeah. It's jazz. If it was like a country band or like maybe some like a dubstep group, something that I'm like, Don, I'd be like, whoa. But I can appreciate some jazz, so.
So did you guys have like the rights to the name and stuff like that? I think that there's a space in their name. I think that's the only difference.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, I think at one point maybe we did some super DIY like email myself a copy of the type
Poor
shit.
man's patent.
Yeah, but other than that, it's just a name,
Yeah.
But you would kind of think that they would have done research.
Yeah.
When you're naming a band, it is either going to be like a really time-consuming project, or you're just gonna fucking pick something and roll with it, right? But back then, it was a different way of going about picking a band name. But these days, you have the internet, and you kind of want to see what's already out there already, But again,
no, I was gonna say the same thing. It's going back to what you were talking about earlier about like different times. Like, I feel like nowadays everyone wants to like cover their bases and like copyright everything and trademark everything because everything's so accessible. Back then, it was just like, "This is our band name, whatever." Yeah.
Right on. So you said that you weren't original member. How many members happened to come through during the lifespan of Thumbscrew?
oh man, handfuls.
Yeah, I did a quick Wikipedia like last week, and I saw that there's a fat list.
Interesting. Well, before I joined, like when you guys started, there was a different vocalist.
Yeah, so the original band was 5 of us with me playing bass originally. And we had a different singer. And then we put out 2 little EPs way back in the day. I think some of us might have even still been in high school. And then our singer left, kind of, I think we were even like on like a string of shows, and he bowed out, and it was kind of like, well, we're not gonna like cancel these shows, so like who wants to sing? And I did it, and we kind of went the whole Zao route with no bass player for a while.
Which totally worked, by the way, because in drop B.
Yeah, I've always felt that bass was kind of like optional in every band I've ever been in. It's like once we decided it was gonna be a band and it was good, we're like, all right, we can recruit a bass player.
Yeah, when I joined, there was no bass player, and no, it was just like us two, Derek and Poopy, and I think the fact that we were so fucking heavy that we didn't need it. Like
we had like bass players, intermittently like play every once in a while. Like we would play shows like in Virginia, and Mike Terry from Bury Your Dead fame and Volumes fame would play bass for a couple of shows.
Yeah.
He'd have people go out on the road with us, but they would eventually, leave to go do other things. But it wasn't until Drew got in the band and we got Nathan that that was pretty much the solid lineup, to the end.
Yeah.
Right on. Keith Carlson asks, is Thumbscrew like finger banging but with thumbs?
I actually don't know where the name came from. I don't know how it happened. I have no idea.
I will say when I joined, I was just kind of curious, and I was trying to find an alternate reasoning for the name. I was researching. I was like, where could this come from? It is actually a form of a medieval torture device.
Oh, tight.
It's pretty metal.
See, before I've talked to anybody else about this band for probably a solid 4 years, I called you guys Thumbscrew. And I had no idea why. But I'm also dyslexic, so my brain does fucking weird shit like that sometimes. But yeah, you guys were always Thumbscrew.
That works.
So what's the weirdest place you guys have ever played a show?
Weirdest.
We've heard some weird ones.
I'm sure there's had to be dude, we played a house party in Florida with Into the Moat.
Dude, that was.
I live in Florida, and I'm really ashamed that I missed that.
The one that, for some reason, one that comes to mind for me, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember that band from Iowa called Spirit of the Staircase or some shit?
Do you remember we stayed at their house?
Yes, that kid. Do you remember when we played in that barn outside with them, and there was fucking baby dolls strung up, hanging from the ceiling? You don't remember this?
Nah.
That was bizarre.
We played a show in Michigan in some dude's basement, and he had his weights were still all set up.
Yeah. Lots of house shows. We played a couple of skate parks.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to think of some other weird situations. But dude, yeah, those I'm not gonna lie, I totally miss house shows. That was a big thing back then. We played a bunch of places, but if we got one while we were on tour, I was always so stoked because we just were always our stage show. We always went crazy, and we liked being in people's faces. So being at a house was gnarly.
So
it's never been fun to play a show and you have a 10-foot barricade,
Yeah,
that just kills a lot of the
energy, dude.
Yeah.
I want to be in it.
The whole scene is Nerf as fuck now. They're just they don't want anybody moshing, or they don't want anybody stage diving or anything. It's back in the day. It's you knew what you were getting into if you went there. You know what I mean? And if you didn't, people were semi-nice enough to like not punch you in the face. Now it's like you can't mosh, but then there's like one dude who's just like punching girls in the face the entire time.
Yeah, definitely a different time, unfortunately.
So, with you saying that, you guys had a very energetic stage show, what are some of the worst stage injuries that anybody in the band's ever encountered?
I don't know if I ever...
Derek got hit in the face once.
I definitely remember, like, accidentally hitting you on multiple occasions.
Yeah. I don't remember a whole lot. I might have had a few concussions and...
I never got super injured, I don't think.
Nothing major, no like broken ankles or anything.
Yeah, we never broke bones. Somehow.
I think we escaped a lot of the injuries, luckily.
Yeah.
I forget who it was, but somebody once told us a fucking stage lamp fell and like cracked one of the guitar players in the fucking head.
Oh damn.
I think it was one of the members of Animosity, I'm not sure.
Oh
I
god.
don't remember.
I love those guys, by the way. I miss them.
Yeah.
There's so many of those. I miss those guys' moments for sure.
Yeah, we actually get to play like during shows with them when Job for a Cowboy got huge. We toured with Animosity, Job for a Cowboy, and Sworn Enemy, and
I think that tour was 6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under. Yeah.
Yeah, one of we had somebody ask a question about 6 Feet Under. Let me try to find it for you guys. Yeah, he said, this is Keith again, said, how was playing shows with 6 Feet Under? How did Chris Barnes and 6 Feet Under fans react to Thumbscrew?
Those were badass shows.
They were not crazy, like probably the packed shows we've ever played. And I just remember like that dude stayed in the band until they played. We never saw him. That dude was probably in the band just blazing it up.
Yeah. I actually never interacted with them.
No.
But the shows were awesome. Just the hospitality of just that whole crew and just that those tour dates were awesome. Like especially like a young band, like getting the opportunity to play with huge bands, like bands that were you knew you were going to show up to those shows and they were going to be packed. So to have that privilege was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then be taken care of, like, as
hell yeah.
the rest of them too. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh well, these fucking tag-alongs.
So how many tours did you guys actually do?
A lot.
We
Were
toured
they mostly U.S.?
Yeah.
Never had a chance to make it to Canada or anything?
I think. I feel like we probably had the opportunity, but I don't remember. I never got to play them. I felt like for like 3 years we were probably touring at least half of the year, all 3 of those years, because we just kept getting on really good tours. But yeah, there's a lot of touring.
Who were some of the favorite bands you got to tour with?
I mean, I'm certain that you'll probably agree with me.
Yeah.
The best tour was when we toured with the Network in Gaza.
Yeah, that was the best tour ever that we were a part of. But we got to play with some really kick-ass bands. Dillinger, in the heyday, and Animosity, Sworn Enemy, Shadowed Realm,
the Warriors,
like, fuck yeah, we
Ed Gein, Into the Moat, a lot.
Yeah, we got the chance to interview a couple of those guys, and it's very surprising how nice everyone actually is. Like, I think I may have got the rock star treatment like twice, but everybody else I've ever talked to has just been so kind. It's unreal that like it's just hard to think of how people have so much conflict in some of their own bands and stuff. But then when I speak to everybody's so fucking nice. It's just insane. Another question from Keith was, why did you guys drop off the Abacab tour?
Which tour was that? The one
I think that's where
our roommate back home fucked us over. Man, so back in the day, we all lived in an apartment together in North Austin, and we met this dude who we I guess, invited to stay with us, and then we thought it worked out because we were like, shit, well, he can watch over the place while we're on tour, and he was like making hella money, and he was like, yeah, man, I got you, blah, blah, blah. And at one point, we were getting contacted by like our apartment, and they were like, you guys are getting evicted, you haven't paid rent, or something was going on, and we couldn't get a hold of this dude. And all of our shit was, our personal belongings were like in our apartment. And we were like, well, fuck, what are we gonna do? So yeah, I think I want to say we were in like New Jersey.
Yeah.
We were at that one kid's house where we played in the basement. Renee, I think his name was. And we decided, I think we were sharing a trailer with Abacab too. So we were like, fuck. And we headed back.
I think there was actually 2 tours that we took off. One was that one for that issue, and then another one when Poopy got really sick.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was another Abacab tour. It was Abacab with Blood Comes Cleansing.
Oh yeah.
Poopy got like a gnarly tooth infection, and he had to get it pulled. And I think we tried to play in I want to say it was somewhere in upstate New York.
Yeah, it was the place with fucking the dude killed his family.
Oh, Amityville.
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay, all right. I got you.
Playing at this bar, and this is after he got his tooth pulled and had to like be on some pain meds, and he was like passing out, like on stage. And Poop was just like, "Dude, I can't do this. I'm like fucked up."
No shit. Shout out to Chris Art watching right now.
Oh,
Art Man dude himself.
Art Man dude, Psycho, yeah.
Ryan Peter wants to know if there's anything left over from merch or anything like that anybody can get a hold of.
No, and I actually did put stuff up for sale a long time ago for like $5. But I mean, there's nothing left over. I don't have no CDs.
Dude,
I found a couple posters like on eBay, but there's nothing.
Interestingly enough, like, I guess within a year of me joining, Daniel and I decided we were gonna like print all of our own T-shirts. Daniel was like the designer for like all of our artwork. And honestly, I think I actually have a bin at my parents' place that's like full of like old test prints and like old shirts. I think I have a CD or 2, but I'm sure it can be found. Like, at least CDs might be able to be found somewhere.
Nancy says, I got some youth mediums.
Was that Nancy from Orlando?
Nancy Crozier?
Yeah, what's up, Nancy?
We know her. What's up? You stayed at her place a bunch, right?
Yeah, she hooked us up, man.
She was the Florida family. The Florida folks were always good to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Florida, and I never got the chance to see you guys. I'm kind of upset about that, but
that's weird because I feel like every time we came to Florida, we played like 4 or 5 shows in Florida.
Yeah, they're always some of the best, man.
It was just so hard to stay in the loop.
Off the list.
It was hard to stay in the loop back then and know who was coming unless it was to like a venue that you were closely at all the time and saw like a flyer on the door or something, you know?
Yeah, we were playing like those VFW type places.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
The majority of the ones around from where my area was either in St. Petersburg at State Theater or Ybor City, the Orpheum. Also, Skate Park at Tampa did some stuff. A lot of people are dropping random names like Ramp Ranch, Page House.
Oh, dude.
Island Oasis.
Dude. Funny thing, when you were asking about weird venues, I mean, to me it's not weird because we played there so many times, but the Page House, technically you could say, is a weird place for us to play. It's like a wedding venue.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
And it was so weird. We played under like a loft kind of situation.
Yeah,
Dude,
little gazebos and shit.
Dude, and we played at gazebos, and both of those places are like in North Austin, technically Georgetown, and dude, we would destroy that place.
Yeah, I guess they are like weird places when you think about like bands playing
and
venues.
our type of music too.
Yeah, we've heard people like say pizza shops and shit, like laundromats, and I've never been to a show at a fucking laundromat, but Sounds strange.
Those were always just like the home shows, you know, like everywhere. Those were just always the best, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was always better playing those places than like, you know, going to a big city and playing a venue, you know, town somewhere.
Well, it's because those fools were always trying to tell us to turn down and all that. And we were like, no, we're a loud fucking band.
Yeah, right
No.
on. So what was the first CD that you guys each individually ever bought?
My first CD ever buying?
Yeah.
Man, I think it was Domino, the rapper, the original,
Oh, shit,
the
yeah.
self-titled Domino album. I think was my first actual CD I purchased. Because before that was just, you know, cassette.
I was gonna say I honestly don't remember first CD, but I do remember my first tape was a Queen tape, probably like greatest hits. I grew up. My dad's big into classic rock, so I grew up listening to that, and I remember Queen being one of the first things I got.
Yeah. What is your dad's favorite band?
Oof. My dad's favorite band would probably be Judas Priest.
That's one of the cooler ones I've heard for a dad.
I was gonna say mine's probably pretty standard is Pink Floyd.
Yeah, that's my dad's favorite band too.
It's just like, dude,
You hear a lot of like Boston and shit.
Yeah.
What was your favorite song to play live?
Ooh.
I love them all, man.
Dude, they were all great. I honestly don't know if there was like a favorite. I mean, there's definitely crowd pleasers, like On to Better Things.
I think for me, probably is like playing everybody else's breakdowns.
Oh, we did do that. What song was at the end of?
Well,
There was a song that we did it at the very end of, like, but we changed the breakdown. Do you remember which? It was something off of All Is Quiet.
Yeah.
Where like on the album it went back into probably a breakdown that was earlier in the song, but like we would play it and we'd be like, all right, tonight we're gonna play the 43% burnt breakdown from Dylan. We're gonna play Bury Your Fucking Dead or whatever.
That's actually pretty fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, My Bitter End.
Zayo. Burn It Down and Walk Away.
I think we did Converge once with the doom. Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun as fuck.
Yeah.
Keith wants to ask, or actually, do you guys know CJ Duffold?
We do.
He's been dropping a lot of stuff in here. He said the Polo Barn.
Do you remember the band Barry White Loves You?
Oh yeah.
This is the vocalist.
Oh, right on.
He's
What's
in a
up,
band.
dude?
What's up? Yeah, he's in a band here now. I actually just ran into him. He's in like this like super like dark like death metal band here called Bury the Rod. I don't know.
Oh, tight.
That's that
Okay,
dude.
yeah.
But what he said? What Polo Club?
The Polo Barn.
Polo Barn? I don't know about that.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but that dude was at like all of our shows, so he may know better than us.
Keith asked another question and said, do you find your music extra difficult to play? ? And then, do you think that mathcore is underrated in this regard?
Like, is it hard? Was it hard to play like in general?
Yeah, he
I
said,
mean-
do you find your music extra difficult to play? And do you think that, parentheses, mathcore is underrated in that regard?
I could say from my own perspective, like when I joined the band, I didn't come from like as technical a like guitar skill set and learning the songs. I spent a lot of time with Derek just like at his apartment, like learning. But once I got him, like it wasn't extremely difficult. But as we progressed, and even like the later songs we wrote, dude, those were not easy to play. And to your second question, fuck yeah, mathcore is always underrated. Like, I don't know. I had this conversation with like my dad a lot because he's never understood. He's so into music, and that's probably why I am. But he never could understand why we were playing the kind of music that we did. And like, I always revert back to Calculating Infinity because I had listened to that album, and I'm just like, every person in this band is fucking seriously going nuts, like doing the craziest shit. And if you don't have like the trained ear to like hear every little aspect, like yeah, it might sound like noise to you, but dude, those dudes are, and plus they go nuts too. To do that and go nuts is insane to me.
So what instrument did you guys each play?
I was a singer.
Okay.
I was one of the guitar players.
So did you do guitar whips?
Dude, we did all kinds of crazy shit with our guitars.
Do you go over the shoulder or behind the back?
Oh, I never did one of these. You mean one of these things? Yeah. I never did one of those. I was mostly just doing like this type of stuff.
Like stabbing motions.
That's when I was hitting Daniel on accident.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have a merch concept that never came into creation that you thought would be really cool to do?
That's a you question for sure.
No, but I do remember we had to take a shirt down because it said "whore" on it.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't even the venue that had the problem. I think it was like somebody's parent.
What the fuck?
Dude, our merch game was strong. Like me, I can, at least from our perspective, like when we weren't on tour, like Daniel was designing everything, and we were like getting together and being like, we would come to shows with like, especially on tour with so many options and like very distinctly different things. It was badass. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
What would you say one of the most amazing live performances you've ever seen was?
For me, it was Premonitions of War at Sin 13 in San Antonio.
Oh yeah, dude.
With All Sincerity, I think.
Dude, I was gonna say with All Sincerity is like a hardcore kind of band from San Antonio from back in the day. And those guys went fucking nuts. Shows at Sin 13 in particular were always gnarly because they totally always had more than capacity, and people were like jumping off of PAs, and people were passing out and shit. It was crazy.
A lot of shows, you know, you see them and they're fun, you know, at the moment, but that show in particular, like, has been with me ever since. Like,
yeah. I
will never forget that show.
I think,
and just how fucking intense it was.
Yeah, I think about it like in two ways. One is like how crazy was the band and how like the crowd reaction, and then B, like how the band sounded. Like, this might sound really strange, but one of like the tightest sounding shows I've ever heard was The Locust.
Yeah.
At Fun Fest, like in Austin, like 2 or 3 years ago. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, we actually had the privilege of having Justin Pearson on here. Dude,
legend.
Yeah.
Those dudes, and plus, yeah, that was a sick show.
I actually just saw a picture of that. I guess he was in handcuffs on the Dead Cross tour that's happening right now. So I don't know what the story with that was. So if anybody knows what that is about, leave it in the comments because I'd like to know.
I would love to know.
Nancy says that the light show was unappreciated.
Dude, you can speak to that because it wasn't like you and your dad that built those things.
I mean, honestly, it was super DIY. It was stitching cords, some Home Depot lights, and I think the only real fucking equipment that we had for that is we bought like a console that you just plug the lights into, and there was settings, so you could like have it programmed or you can do certain things with it, but there was like like a vibration button or something, so we would just put that console next to Poopy's bass drum.
Oh yeah.
And then that way when we would go into the breakdown, the lights would feed off of his kick. But other than that, you know, it was a really simple setup, but it was probably, like she said, it was probably something that could define us, but yeah, flew under the radar. cases.
I love that shit.
CJ said the Polo Barn was a tiny room in the back of the Page House they used to throw shows at.
Oh, it must have been where we were set up, probably. He said it's like a part of Page House.
So there was like a gazebo part, and then the back
house.
Oh yeah.
And there was like a lot.
I didn't realize it had a different name.
Yeah, I didn't.
And then he also said that his best memory was the Kill the Client release show with y'all, and it was crazy. It was a crazy show.
Oh yeah, dude, Kill the Client, dude. I
love
love them too. I still see that dude around, the singer.
Morgan, yeah.
Dude,
Actually, I just saw some of their. I think it was a 7-inch on Discogs that I'm about to buy. I think it was going for like $7 or something. It's crazy.
definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Ryan said, "How come that one song is 8 minutes and 6 of it is silence on the horror EP?"
Where it's like silence and then it goes into the. I don't know how we arrived at that. I think we were just kind of like.
A lot of bands were doing that.
I don't know.
I think
we wanted silence in between tracks, and I know we didn't want to put it before. We didn't want somebody to have to switch to the last track and have the silence there. But I have no idea why we just didn't add a silent track, or I don't know. That might have completely been a fuck up on our part.
I think we just wanted like a secret song and some weird way of getting to it.
Right on. Keith wants to know if there was any run-ins with the Law on tour.
Yeah. One time, we drove with a trailer on a highway that I guess didn't allow trailers or extra axles, and the police officer ended up being a metalhead. He was super into and so he actually just parked his car, and he checked out our CD. We gave him a CD. He played it. We would all get in the car. Were you on that tour?
I don't know if I was on that tour.
Maybe it was Steven. But yeah, he just kind of hung out with us, and I don't know, 15 minutes, and then he escorted us back to the right highway.
That's awesome. That's a really cool cop story, I guess.
The only other one I remember was like, it might have been the first tour I did with y'all, where like the cops had it for us, and it was like in one state. It was like Alabama or something. We were in the Suburban, dude.
Oh, really?
Do you remember this? Where like it felt like we were getting pulled over like every 2 hours, and they would search the back of the van, and then they would let us go.
Oh yeah.
And it happened like 3 times in the same day, and we were like, "What the fuck, man?"
Nathan got arrested because I guess he didn't turn the lights on the van.
Oh yeah.
And they actually took his ass to jail.
Yeah.
For not having lights on in a van? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So what was some of your favorite bands from your area back then and now?
Upon a Burning Body.
Oh yeah, I wish they're like huge now.
Oh fucking, they're still good.
Oh yeah.
They still kick ass.
With all sincerity, At All Costs. We were really good friends with them. John Bonet.
Blood Ties.
Obviously, Kill the Client. God, what was the band? Die Young. They were kind of like.
That was a good time to be in a band.
Dude, it really was.
All the bands were fucking good.
Oh yeah.
All of them.
I feel like I'm missing some band though. $25 Massacre.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they were sick.
25. I still talk to some of those guys every once in a while.
We're gonna have to talk after the show. I've been trying to hunt them down. Like, fucking.
I can get you whatever you need, honestly.
That's what's up. Awesome. Yeah, I've been trying to track them down for like about a year now.
Hell yeah. Well, what's the band 30 called Arson?
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Evelyn,
dude.
Fuck, so many good bands.
Far From Breaking.
I'm sure
if
They Came Burning.
They Came Burning.
They always killed it. I'm sure there's like a band in Houston we're not mentioning, or
That School Real Knife Fight. Remember those guys?
So what was the scene like in your eyes when you were growing up in that?
Badass.
Yeah.
just
It was a
fun.
thing. Like, I grew up in San Antonio, and I moved here after I joined the band. But San Antonio has like a huge, it's to this day has a huge metal and like punk and hardcore scene. And it's so weird now because I don't honestly know if I can say even then that Austin had like an abrasive music scene, but there were good bands from here, and we always had good turnouts, and we had like so many homies. It was tight. It does like speaking for now because we're both in bands now here. It's very different, in that landscape of like style of music.
What band are you in?
I'm in a band called Torture now, with a buddy of mine, Matt, who's also kind of from the San Antonio hardcore scene. He was in a band called 815 for a long time, and these other three guys that are in this kind of post-hardcore-ish band called Ivy League. But yeah, relatively new band.
Right on. Have you guys been in other projects since then, or are these the first ones that you've got into?
So after Thumbscrew, for me, I played in like a little blues jazz band. That was probably like immediately after Thumbscrew. And then, but that was more, there was never like gigs or anything. It was more just hanging out, drink beer, play some tunes. And then after that, I haven't done anything probably for the last 10 years until, just recently.
Yeah, it seems to go that way for a lot of people. It's strange.
For me, after Thumbscrew, Poopy and I were like briefly in another band with a vocalist from $25 Massacre called Poacher, and we only lasted probably like 8 months.
Oh, yeah. CJ just mentioned Poacher.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Kicked ass.
Yeah, it was a great experience. But same, like after that, I haven't been in a band in almost 10 years. I just played at home for fun and went to college and did all that shit.
Ryan says, I have those This Ain't Your Mom's hardcore DVDs.
Oh yeah.
And I know those Full Lock Media dudes. Did you do a music video with them, and how was working with them, and did the video turn out the way you wanted?
Fucking great people.
Dude, yeah, I talk to Kapil like once a year. So this guy Kapil, he would come to our shows outside of Atlanta, and I don't know how he even initiated it, but he was like, I shoot these videos of bands, putting together a DVD. You guys want to let us shoot a video, and we'll shoot you live, and you can hang with us. And like we were there for like 3 days.
Yeah, but he had been doing it, so like every time we would go to Atlanta, we'd just see him all the time, and he was always filming. And I think just kind of that interaction of just having met him and always seeing him, and because we were touring so much back then that we grew a lot of relationships with a lot of people. And so it just kind of one thing turned to another, and he was, those guys were great because they always found us like a place to stay, or we would stay at their house, or they would buy us pizza, and always a good time. And sometimes we would book tours and like put a day off in Atlanta, or take a day off in Virginia, or take a day off in Florida, because we knew like there was people there, and we wanted to take advantage of like hanging out.
Yeah, they were so tight.
Keith asks, when is the Thumbscrew reunion?
Dude, it's funny. Like we've actually talked about it like a bunch over the past, like since like New Year. That's when I was over at your place for New Year's, right? And Steven, the other past guitarist, was there, and we were talking about it. And Poopy's always down. I would not be surprised if it happens sooner than later.
Yeah.
Right on. So how did Poopy get the name Poopy? It's a mystery.
His name.
Is that like on his birth certificate? Is his name Poopy Sanchez?
He would like legit like never. I mean, he would never let anyone. He sure have told me like, don't ever tell anyone my real name. Today, I don't know if I've ever actually told anyone what his real name is.
I know the real story, but it's Poopy. I've always known him as Poopy. So.
Right on. So what were you saying that his house got crashed into? Was there any further information on that?
Yeah, and sometimes you're like, what? Somebody drove into your house? Like, okay,
No, it's
an
real.
actual vehicle drove through this dude's house.
Shit, doesn't he have kids?
No.
Oh, I thought I saw something on Instagram with him hanging out with a bunch of children.
He has nieces and nephews, and he lives next door to his parents, and of course, like, it's a very like family values group. So there's always people there. You're always welcome. They're always cooking. So there's always activity in that area. With just people, and anytime that I go into the neighborhood, I try to be sure just to stop by, and usually somebody's always there.
Right on. Did you guys ever have any beef with like any other artists?
Not that I can think of.
I don't think so. I think just beef in general. Like, I think we happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time a few times.
Oh,
like,
yeah, we definitely were.
That kind of seemed like a trend.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we couldn't get away from like shit that was out of our control.
Yeah.
But as far as like actually beefing with anybody, I don't never happened.
No.
So who was the wildest character on tour?
Poopy for sure.
Yeah. Was it ever hard to deal with, or was it always just fun?
I mean, being in a band and like touring with dudes, like everyone wants to do their own thing. Yeah, I mean, it can get irritating at times, but at the end of the day, like, we all were brothers. Like, we squashed shit, and shredding was the thing. We had a lot of fun though.
So whose fart smelled the worst?
Huh?
Whose fart smelled the worst? What was the like living quarters situation on most of your tours? Was it mostly just everybody in a van, or?
Man, we had like a good system, honestly. So like the places that he was mentioning, like when we were in, I feel like it was like Louisiana, Florida, Virginia. Am I missing somewhere? Maybe sometimes Maryland.
Yeah.
Like, we would have like people that like we would always stay with it, and I think Atlanta. And sometimes we'd get lucky, and like people that we put the show would let us crash with them. But if that didn't work out, for a while we didn't even have a merch person, I think. So it was just the four of us, and we had a van, and we were like, let's just park over at in like a Walmart, the local Walmart, wherever we are, crash there because it's open 24 hours. And if you need to go to the bathroom or get your snack on, go up in there.
Got it.
What's your favorite gas station food?
Oh shit!
Oh, Ritz? Sheets, yeah.
Sheets.
Fuck yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Sheets is like up in the northeast, I feel like. I could be in like Pennsylvania area.
Like Virginia, Maryland, like that whole area. Dude, I might have got the states wrong, but
it's up there.
In that, up in the cut up there. Sheets for sure.
Dude, they had like, you could pay for gas with cash at the pump, and then also they had like a screen, like ordering system for food inside, and it was like legit
like
food.
Restaurants still can't figure out now.
No,
they were doing it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dogs. And they were fucking legit and
so
cheap.
It was like basically like Wawa, but they brought it to the pump.
Dude, it was sick. I miss. I still talk about Sheets.
If I ever make it back up there, definitely.
Colin Hobbs says Sheets ! Pennsylvania dudes.
Oh yeah.
And then Nancy said, one time Poopy was on the phone with T-Mobile in my apartment, and I overheard his real name. Never forget.
Don't let her tell you. Put the hex on you.
and then Keith the Lurk says Poopy's real name is Bartholomew.
I will say that that's not true, but the real name is.
It's a fucking mystery that will ever elude us.
I like that.
So what was your the writing method when it came to creating new music?
It was old school, man. Just get your homies in a room and jam.
Dude, yeah, we definitely had. I've never been able to write with a group of people. I've only been in a few other bands, but like I've never been able to write with a group of people like that. Like Derek, who was the other guitarist when I was in the band, was insane, and he would come up with crazy shit. And Poopy was so good about like thinking about like how we could transition to something, or what, like how one riff could go into the next and what he would be playing. I mean, back then the band was like our life, dude. Like when we were on tour, like we were writing or thinking about writing. It just came really naturally.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. It was.
We didn't have to force
magic.
too much.
Yeah, it was magic, honestly.
Was there ever, or who was some of your biggest influences when it came to writing?
Dude,
Dillinger, Converge.
for sure.
Embodiment. Fucking Psyopus.
Ion Dissonance.
Yeah. Coalesce.
I would say like American Nightmare too, from back in the day. But Derek was on another level though.
Yeah, he listened to a lot of like R&B and
it was crazy.
old Motown stuff, you know.
When I first joined the band, like it was rare to hear Derek listening to heavy music. He was really into like R&B and jazz and like.
He was a huge Prince fan.
I love Prince, and just like he was so good at coming up with what we were doing though. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So did anybody in the band have previous like musical training?
No.
All self-taught?
Yeah, we were all self-taught, I think.
Nico Kaczynski asks, do you regret your head/face tattoos? I think that's towards me. It's a do and don't situation because I like the way I look physically. I'm comfortable in my body, and being tattooed, like, I feel like that's the way I want to look. When I look in the mirror, or when I think about myself, I don't think of like just a bland person, I guess. I just see myself covered in tattoos. But do I regret them? Yeah, because it's really hard to find a good job with a forehead tattoo. When I actually first got my forehead tattoo, I showed it to my mom, and she just pulled me closer, and she's like, "What's that say, dumbass?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I guess that's got to do with my forehead. Shit, I kind of lost track of what we were talking about.
Influences was the last thing I think we were talking about.
Well, were you guys ever signed?
Oh yeah.
Who were you signed by?
First label was Counterintelligence Recordings out of Virginia.
I remember seeing that now. What was it like working with Counterintelligence?
Dude, they were tight.
The label owner Kevin we met him in Dallas. He was in the military, but he was such a good person, like the nicest, most genuine person you'll ever meet in your life.
Super hospitable, man.
Yeah.
Like, when we went through, like we stayed with them and they cooked for us, and
he just signed bands that he enjoyed, just for fun almost. And he ended up moving to Virginia. I think he got stationed up in Virginia, and that became the label home. I'm not really sure whatever happened, but like he was just the nicest, most kind person ever that you could ever meet. And he always invited all of the bands to always stay at his house. He had every CD. He had every hardcore CD that you could think of, any DVD or, video cassette. He had it original. Like he was a living like museum. Like just he had it all. Everything. Yeah. It was a glorious time, like to be around him.
Keith wanted to know what the song 602 was in reference to.
602 was the address that I lived at with an ex-old girl.
So is the song about ex-old girl, or is the song about, like, living quarters or something?
No, it's just about a girl.
Right on.
It wasn't very creative, you know? Oh,
It was metaphorical.
yeah.
Alright, so, I guess you guys can keep asking questions, and I'll get to them after the next segment. But at this time, we wanted to do the show and tell segment, the vinyl show and tell. So
Nice.
before the show, I asked them to grab a few records to speak about. So I'll give you guys the opportunity to do that now.
I think I'm gonna grab the ones that I know that we'll be able to like speak to immediately.
Nice. Did yours come with the poster in it?
Oh yeah, it's still in here, I think. Oh shit, it's got the poster.
Right on. I got my frame back here.
Yeah, we saw it when
Yeah.
we called in earlier.
We were lurking.
Man, I'm sure Daniel feels the same way, but this particular album, I can't say, I don't know. It's like, to me, probably my favorite heavy abrasive record. I mean, it's hard to put any Converge album above another, but
Yeah.
when this one came out, I was like, I don't think I've heard like as good of like lyrical content. Like it was just kind of straightforward, punch you in the face. The riffs, I don't know. I fucking love this album.
I review some vinyl on YouTube as well, and every time I've ever reviewed a Converge album, I'm pretty sure the words "This is my favorite Converge album" has come out of my mouth every single time I've ever done any Converge album.
Dude, so it's hard because everyone wants to talk about Jane Doe.
Yeah.
For the time period, like it was so ahead of what a lot of bands like in that space were doing, and I love that album. It's still incredible, but this one to me like is what I've always been inspired by, like as a guitar player. I was like,
Yeah.
fucking,
I
love
agree.
it.
One of my favorite, and it's still like relevant today.
Oh yeah.
Still, the messaging, the lyrical content, the packaging and artwork. Just
Yeah, for sure.
the time period it came out, and like I know what I was doing when this album came out.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
like my life situation, and it just has so much meaning.
Yeah, it's a very political album too, which is like he was saying, so relevant to like how shit has hit the fan in this country, like hate and like the kind of stuff that he talks about. Like, people become vultures. I mean, fucking tight.
Fucking day.
I'm trying to think of what else I have over here. I guess we can talk about this because these are our homies.
Rose.
The Bros and Cult Leader, dude.
Yeah, that's sick.
This.
I love their artwork and their like dark imagery. It's so cool. It's like all occult almost.
Dude, their vocalist
Yeah,
does all of it. Like he's an illustrator. Anthony, he is insanely talented. And these guys, like, again, it's hard because we're kind of biased because we know these guys, but they were also some of the coolest people to be
Yeah.
around, and generally, like in the music landscape of how things are now, they're to me still doing some of the most like original, abrasive music that exists.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'll always tip my hat to them because they're incredible.
What was it like touring with Gaza?
Dude, it's the best. Like they were all super humble. We just got along. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
They're not the type of guys that you would expect out of a heavy band. Like they almost kind of seem like we were like the
We had
really-
so much fun with those guys.
Yeah, we're the more stereotypical, super tatted, heavy like dudes, and those guys are just kind of like, I don't want to say nerdy dudes, but like way more kind of straight laced, but like we're into what we were doing and we're doing interesting stuff. So They were super cool.
Keith had asked previously, and we discussed this before the show, but what do you have anything to say about the allegations that are pending against the vocalist?
So here's my thing. One, that's like a fucking super serious topic, and just like, so that's a big deal, and that's nothing that like should be taken lightly, right?
For sure.
And in no way am I saying that like he did or did not do anything, but my time with him, like, I wouldn't saw that coming. I wouldn't have.
Yeah, no.
You know, when we were on tour, you know, he was by far like the last person that was trying to chase any tail, or he was the last person to like. His persona of that band was way different of him as an actual person.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So it kind of, for me, it just kind of sucks to hear that, because he was a really good dude, you know, and just kind of sucks, and that's just a super like shitty position to be for both parties.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. I really enjoyed being around that dude, and that's not to say that he didn't do it, but I've even kind of talked to, because when Cult Leader comes through, like, I always go and we bro out, and they wouldn't even kind of like acknowledge it. They were just kind of like, even the fact that it was like out there, they felt like they needed to branch off and like start something different, because they felt like that true or not kind of tarnished what they were doing.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like for Gaza being such an amazing band, it really kind of hurts to have that, you know, label against them. And I mean, it definitely hurts to have that label against them, and almost like people who are fans of that band and stuff are being attacked for, you know, oh, you're promoting this, and, you know, etc. And it really sucks, because, you know, I've seen Gaza a few times, and, you know, I've listened to them for like a decade, and it's an iconic album, and the one with the fucking goat on it, it's an iconic album for our time period, definitely.
Totally agree.
And like, I don't really know much about the allegations themselves, but from what I heard, you know, left a sour taste in my mouth. But at the same time, you know, I still have, like, I don't even know if it's pending still, if it's, you know, been confirmed, or whatever the case is.
Yeah, I don't even, and think for me, I mean, we both are just as like, we didn't ever knew what the specifics were. I'm pretty sure I read about it on like Lamb Goat or something, and it didn't get specific.
But yeah, like you said, it definitely tarnishes something that was once great. And
dude, I still to this day listen to their last full length, the No Absolutes and Human Suffering, that I think Jake from Death Wish was like actually was the one who helped release it on like vinyl and get it out there. It's incredible. But yeah, I don't know. It definitely hurts.
But I mean, it also did give the opportunity for Cult Leader, you know, and Cult Leader is fucking amazing. I got to see them when Dillinger came through, and they played with them in Car Bomb, and that was a fucking phenomenal show. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to ever see Dillinger, and you know, being in this genre of music that, you know, we all love so much, I honestly didn't hear about Car Bomb until very late. Like, they're an older band, but I just recently, probably last year, heard about them and put on a fucking phenomenal show. And this was the first time I had actually ever heard Cult Leader was at that show. And I can definitely say that they're definitely on my rotation now, for sure.
They're charging ahead.
Yeah, sorry to like steer that off, but you can proceed now.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
Cult Leader's kicking ass, and, you know, obviously, you know, they're still keeping that sound. It's still those guys, you know what I mean, and they're still good dudes, and they're still writing fucking awesome music. And like Drew was saying, it's
Still,
it's one of the bands that's out right now that is legitimately like doing something different, with the sound.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna grab this one because I know we're both into this as well. Sumac.
I've never actually had the chance to listen to that. I'm gonna have to look it up after this.
So they've got 2 full lengths. One's called The Deal, and this one's called What One Becomes. So it's like a side project with the dude from ISIS, like the vocalist and guitar player, Aaron Turner, the drummer from Baptists, and then the bassist from Russian Circles. Dude, this album kicks ass. So fucking good. It's like another.
It's just a solid fucking album.
Yeah, and it's again like Cult Leader, they're doing heavy abrasive music in a very interesting way that's not being done. Recording is great. They're heavy. His voice is just like, so good.
The packaging and artwork's badass.
Oh, yeah.
They're still keeping shit like super DIY. It's just solid, and you really have to appreciate music and like bands like this.
Oh yeah, so good.
I'm really because since I've done like graphic design and whatnot, like imagery and the way a band brands itself and artwork is extremely important to me, and sometimes it's almost as important as the music they actually produce.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for just good imagery, and like when you sit there, you can comment on the artwork and stuff of an album. Like it's definitely a big part of what I look for when I purchase vinyl, etc. And when I review vinyl, the majority of the review is about the artwork and less so about the music, because I'm kind of like trying to steer people towards what to purchase and what not to purchase, what's collectible and what's not, etc. But
That's cool. Well, side note, like somehow me and him like stumbled on the same career path, and we're both like graphic designers. It's like now those are full-time jobs.
Yeah.
I see that a lot with ex-band members and band members in general, with a lot of the people we've interviewed, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we were all in bands and we did our own flyers and did our own imagery and stuff.
And plus, like, yeah, like I was really inspired by album art, posters, skate apparel, like.
For sure.
And,
Well, back in the day, that's how you decided on what album to buy and if it was going to be good or not. Was
Go to the store and see it.
Yeah.
and now, since no one buys CDs, vinyl, how vinyl is presented, like as like a tactile piece with like design, is almost even more important.
Yeah.
Because like
It's more expensive.
no one wants to buy any music anymore. So like, if an artist like takes the time and like makes badass like packaging and shit for vinyl, I'm like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
totally.
I'm definitely swept up in the whole Spotify thing, just because it's so easy. It's so easy to just have access to MP3s and whatnot.
Yeah, you don't like a 700-page booklet.
Oh, yeah, the books.
Yeah.
Just to like flop through.
I was never big on CDs. That was just my thing. I've collected vinyl. I've had probably 3 different vinyl collections in my life. Lost 2 of them. Yeah, and there was some crazy shit I will never get back in both of those stashes, but you know how it goes when you have ex-girlfriends who are interested in same music taste and whatnot.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say something I can't remember. Oh yeah, like I totally like, since we're designers who sit at a computer all day, like I totally use Spotify, but I still to this day, like if I go to shows and their bands
For sure.
and I follow, I'll buy all their records straight up.
That's what's another thing I like to do, is like to support musicians when I see them.
Yeah.
I will typically buy vinyl because A, it's the most expensive thing I can buy from them, and B, it's something I'm going to keep forever.
Yeah.
Or at least try to keep forever. And t-shirts and stuff are awesome. I'll pick up a shirt if vinyl's not available or whatever, but I have a horrible habit of losing t-shirts. I used to be a severe alcoholic, and every cool shirt I've ever owned in my life is gone, or since I've got sober, I've gained probably 45 pounds, so I don't fit in any of my awesome shit anymore. But I still have that vinyl to go back to, And
that music will always be there, man.
Another thing Keith said is now album covers are reduced to 100 times 100 pixel thumbnails on iTunes. So how elaborate can it be?
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if I have any other. Are we still doing record stuff? Because I got a stack.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Are you into any of these? I just I pulled some.
Sigur Rós is classic,
dude. This is
one for sure.
Oh yeah. Okay, we got a couple. This is Sigur Rós Untitled album. Dude, I don't know. Sigur Rós is on the same level to me as Converge, but on a different, obviously, musical landscape. Been listening to them since I was in high school.
See, I've never heard of that, but if I was in a record store and I saw that, because I can already see that it's pretty fucking sweet.
Well, dude, the packaging itself, they've got the die cut parentheses, and then you open it up, there's all this crazy shit.
If I saw that in the store, I'd pull up my Spotify and check it out, and then probably end up purchasing an album.
It's dope.
And the CD art is just as badass,
dude.
Just the way it's done.
Yeah, dude. There's a bunch.
Because they have a vellum J sleeve,
Oh yeah. There's a bunch of cool printing techniques on it. But this band, they're from Iceland. I feel like they probably. Their genre would be I think they call themselves dream rock or something. I don't know how to describe it, but this particular album of theirs is super minimal and weird and moody, and I don't know. It's definitely not for everybody, but I love this album. Oh yeah, and then we've got this shit right here. American Football. This is their first LP. I think it's just called LP1.
I think you lost me on that one, but just not a fan.
No, you're not into it?
No.
For me, I've been listening to it for so long. I got into American football probably when I was 14, and it was something. It's very nostalgic for me at this point. I haven't listened to this record in a long time, but I grew up listening to it, and the guitar work is really cool. And interestingly enough, this is me. It's just a guess, but I'm pretty sure that Mike from Cult Leader and Gaza got his guitar tuning from how they tune their guitars.
Yeah.
Just interesting. Well, because when we were on tour with them, he was playing it, on off days, and I remember asking him about that tuning, and then I one day tuned my guitar, and I tried to start playing Gaza riffs, and I was like, oh. See there.
You might figured it out.
I might just end with this last one. I don't know if you've ever listened to this, Death Grips. Okay.
Did you say Death Grips?
Death Grips, dude. Have you ever listened to Death Grips?
I've heard a lot of chatter about it, but I've never actually taken it. It's rap, right?
I'm not surprised. It's very abrasive. It's if rap and...
Oh, yeah.
Is it a Suicide Boys thing?
Yeah.
Say that again?
Is it Suicide Boys or something?
I can't compare them to anybody, to be honest, and maybe that's why I like them so much, but the drummer from Hella is the drummer of this band.
Oh, really?
So he plays live drums, it's hip-hop, they have a vocalist, and then they have a guy that does sampling. But this band is... I like how they sound, but aside from that, what they're doing, they just don't give a shit about anybody thinks or what their label thinks or whatever, and they're just about making music, and their live performance is badass, and they're making stuff that doesn't sound like anything else. So
it definitely looks like a cool piece, that's for sure.
Dude, definitely check it out.
Go on YouTube, check them out, because the live shows are
insane. Yeah. I'm not surprised you've heard Chatter, because they've done a lot of weird shit since they've started making music.
Yeah. Ryan Peter asked, what are some of the upcoming heavy bands you guys are digging these days?
I don't know about upcoming. Like, I'm still a fan of like the stuff that I've been listening to for the past, 10 years. Like bands that are still around.
Yeah, I still listen to a lot of the old stuff. A lot of the old that were like classics to me. I still listen to those same albums, and
that's where I'm at too.
There's not a lot of like upcoming like bands that haven't already been around for like 5 or 6 years to me that I like, but in the heavy realm, I really like Sumac, and I like Baptists and Trap Them and All Pigs Must Die and Mutoid Man, Oathbreaker. I like Death Heaven, and I know a lot of people like hate that, but I still like that band. I can't think of any other like, heavy I can think of. I don't listen to a whole lot of heavy, to be honest with you, these days.
Right on. So our next segment is everyday carry. So, like, what do you usually carry in your pockets every day? Or right now, if it's just you have something funny in your pocket.
I don't have anything funny. I'm simple. I got my phone, maybe a pack of gum, and my wallet.
yeah.
Nothing crazy. My keys.
Keys and a phone.
Still waiting for somebody to pull a gun out one day.
Oh yeah. Good.
Nah, pretty simple. I don't carry shit. I don't like shit in my pockets.
Yeah, me
you know?
neither.
See, I've come to the conclusion that everybody wore such tight jeans back in the day that they've minimalized the things that they carry at this point.
Possible. That's a good.
I do want to invest in a fanny pack one day, but I think I'll give it another 10 years.
When they're back in style.
See, I'm a large dude, and I totally support the fanny pack for multiple reasons. But it's hard to find a fanny pack in a size like 42 waistband.
Could be $1 million idea right there. Start you that company.
Yeah, fanny pack club.
That would actually probably do pretty well nowadays.
Yeah.
So this brings us to our last segment of the evening, and it's the one I gave you fair warning about being extremely weird. This is the Would You Rather segment, and I'm sure you guys know the rules of Would You Rather. I give you a hypothetical situation with 2 outcomes, and you just tell me which of the 2 horrible things that you would rather have.
Okay.
So question number 1 is, would you rather eat a light bulb every day, but when you poop it's okay? Or would you rather eat whatever you want, but when you poop it's class?
Totally eat the light bulb every day and have decent shit.
Yeah.
So shits are more important than picking foods that you like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, you'd have to order light bulbs from Sheets. Would you rather drown in piss or vomit?
Ooh. Piss, man. I think vomit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much the
It's
unanimous
It's
answer.
so thick, it would be like.
And there's so many different consistency types of vomit.
And you'd probably end up drowning in your own vomit from vomiting in the vomit.
I agree. Very good point.
It'd be like drowning from the inside out. This was a user, a question that a viewer submitted. Would you rather secrete a small amount of shit like sweat from your skin every day, or turn into a full-fledged were-turd one night a month on a full moon?
I'm gonna go with the wear turd.
Yeah, I'll tell you the weird turd.
Would you rather have 2 sphincters on the palms of your hands or on the foot of your feet?
My feet.
What are my feet? Because man, my feet already smell like shit.
Do you wear socks?
It's different.
Do you wear socks?
I do, man. See, don't they say like you like sweat like several ounces, like your feet sweat like several ounces of like sweat a day? I don't know. My shit's
Imagine how gnarly it would be if it was just shit.
pretty vile, but
Pretty gnarly shit about like your skin flakes and like.
Would you rather have pubic hair for teeth or teeth for pubic hair?
whoa. It's got to be teeth for pubic hair. I don't want pubes up in my mouth. At the same time,
I'd say
like,
the opposite.
Dude, getting one pube in your mouth is horrible. I can't imagine having a mouthful of pubes.
I know. And plus, like, how are you gonna eat with those things? Eating like tapioca pudding.
Would you rather have a nipple-sized penis or penis-sized nipples?
Ooh.
What was the question?
Nipple-sized penis or penis-sized nipples? Dude, that's
I think
fucking rough. This is the hardest one.
Oh, it gets harder.
Cause
Would you rather have a nipple-sized penis?
I'm gonna go penis-sized nipples because, I mean, who's to say what size penis?
My answer too.
All right, this one's kind of rough. Would you rather watch your parents have sex for the rest of your life,
Oh no.
or join in once to stop it?
Oh. Fuck, man. Damn.
The way I envision it happening is like split screen, like, you know, when you put your TV on, have like a little screen so you can like watch football and like whatever your old lady wants to watch at the same time or something.
Good point. Watch for the rest of my life. I cannot join in on that occasion.
Yeah.
Would you rather fight a duck-sized horse or 100 horse-sized? Or I'm sorry. Would you rather fight a duck-sized horse or 100 horse the size of ducks?
Holy fuck.
The
first option?
Yeah, the duck-sized horse.
Right on. Any reasoning for that? Would it be easier or?
Yeah,
You
dude.
just kick the shit out of it. I
Yeah,
guess.
because if you've got like these gnarly ducks that are the size of horses, ducks already kind of freak me out.
No,
'Cause
you fight either one large duck
Oh.
or 100 tiny horses.
100 tiny horses.
100 tiny horses. Hunt them shits.
Yeah, because ducks are already pretty fucking aggressive.
Dude, they can be. They're unpredictable. I don't like it.
Would you rather shower in fish tank water or have raisins for fingernails?
Fish tank water. Jumped in some weird bodies of water, let me tell you.
You know that one place we played and they had like the sulfur water?
Oh, God.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
The egg water is nasty.
That's not cool.
Would you rather have arms for legs or legs for arms? So you'd have like a set of 4 arms or a set of 4 legs.
Arms.
4 arms.
You could do some gnarly guitar solos on that.
Same, dude.
Be a one-man band.
Ultimate shredder.
You can only listen to one artist for the rest of your life, and it's Nickelback or ICP.
Nickelback.
I thought the question was going to be, what artist would you listen to forever? I know we're trailing off here. I'm going to say Sade.
That's also my dad's favorite artist. Like he listens to so much Sade. It's crazy.
Incredible.
Saw her live with John Legend.
Well, that had to be a magical evening.
It was
I know.
beautiful.
It was delightful.
Yeah.
Would you rather have your mom or dad catch you masturbating or you catch them?
Me masturbating.
Yeah, I'd rather have them catch me.
Fight a teenage bear or 3 ostriches that are on cocaine?
Teenage bear.
You would fight a bear?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck no.
Dude, ostriches are fucked up, man. 3 2, they're like...
You're fighting 3 of them?
They're like flapping their...
Yeah, but you got weak legs, man.
You just gotta figure out how to deal with them claws of the bear.
Yeah, you'd have to definitely come up with this.
He's a
strategy.
teenager, maybe he's not super aggressive yet.
Oh,
He's
no,
got the angst, though.
Oh, he's hungry, you're right. I'll still go with bear.
Go with the birds.
Would you rather have your body found on a pile of sex toys or naked pictures of Guy Fieri?
Sex toys.
Sex toys all day, Guy Fieri, no.
Would you rather have a vagina armpits or an armpit between your legs?
armpit between my legs.
Vagina armpits.
Splitsies.
Would you rather have no penis or 5 penises? So
Do the penises come in assorted sizes, or
it's just like a pack of hot dogs between your legs?
This is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the package.
Not have anything would be pretty miserable. Hand over all 5.
Would you rather cut off one of your fingers or pay $5,000 of your own money for the person you hate most to go on vacation?
I'm gonna have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not my money, right? Hypothetical.
I don't know. Over the years, I've just come to realize how important my fingers are.
Yeah.
I pay.
Would you rather live forever or die in the next 5 minutes?
Live forever, duh.
Die in the next 5 minutes.
He's over the podcast. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Steve Buscemi, Danny DeVito, and the lead singer of Smash Mouth.
Fuck one, kill one, marry one.
Who are the names?
Smash Mouth, singer.
Danny DeVito and Steve Buscemi.
Fuck Danny DeVito. What are the other ones?
Steve
Kill.
Buscemi and lead singer of Smash Mouth.
But what are the other options? Like kill.
Fuck, marry, and kill.
Okay, never mind. I take that back. Marry Danny DeVito.
Yeah, for sure.
Kill the singer of Smash Mouth. And fuck Steve Buscemi.
Would you rather sweat milk or grow blue cheese like plaque on your teeth?
Oh no, sweat milk all day long.
Yeah.
I hate blue cheese. Yeah. Get that out of
Pop one of your testicles like a grape, or eat a monster turd produced by Gabriel Iglesias with a fork and knife at a slow pace.
I pop a testicle.
Nah,
I only need one, man.
I'll eat the shit.
I'm gonna eat shit, man.
I cannot eat any doo-doo, y'all. At a slow pace?
Yeah. That's the fucking worst part about it. Would you rather die on the Titanic or in the World Trade Center?
World Trade Center.
Drink your mom's breast milk or your dad's urine?
I mean, I already drank my mom's breast milk at one point, so...
Breast milk.
You made my day.
I only
Breast
drink the finest Cambodian breast milk.
That's right.
And okay, there's one more tough one, and then we're done.
Alright.
Would you rather fuck your mother in your girlfriend's body, or fuck your girlfriend in your mother's body?
God, both.
So either way, you're fucking your mom, but you can either look at your girlfriend or you can.
It's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be...
fuck my mom in the girlfriend's body.
Absolutely.
Man, you guys took that whole segment like fucking champs. I don't think I've ever had anyone like not back. Like somebody always backs down from at least one of those horrible questions.
Man, we're some degenerates. We've probably pathetically done this to like ourselves on tour back in the day.
Okay, and there's one more. Would you rather be turned on by men wearing Crocs or fedoras?
Crocs.
Crocs all day.
Right on. So I want to personally thank you guys so much for coming out tonight and staying in tonight and doing this interview with us. I know that this is going to please a lot of people when they stumble across it and they're like, oh shit, I was looking for a Thumbscrew video and now I found a fucking hour and a half long interview about them having pubes for teeth. So somebody will be excited, I'm sure. And I think we've had like 1,200 people pop in tonight, so
nice.
Pretty good.
Hey,
Right off the rip.
everybody too
Yeah, for real.
that tuned into this and catching up with us. Like Thumbscrew was amazing, and we met so many great people, and it was seriously one of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and just being a part of us, and hanging out 10 years later.
Yeah, dude.
That's what we do it for. So you guys already covered. We do a lot of giveaways on our show, and see like tonight from me just contacting you earlier this week and being like me posting and you guys posting about having the show. We've gained followers from that. So
Nice.
when we do giveaways, there's potential that they're going to be some of the people that could win this giveaway from being in our liking our page and stuff. So we like to ask all the guests that should come on the show if they have anything physical that possibly could be sent to me that I could throw into a giveaway to kind of say thank you to them or anything like that. I know you mentioned that you don't have any shirts or CDs or anything left, but you guys will be in touch with me, and if you happen to stumble across anything, if you guys don't want to keep it for yourselves, and if you could send it over, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, it could be for newer projects and stuff that you guys are in as well, if you come across anything. So
we can mail off albums of our projects.
Yeah. Well, like the band I'm in, we just recorded a full length, and that'll make its way sometime into the. You guys are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and dude, I would not be surprised if I went back and like opened up this like thing, this Rubbermaid thing I'm talking about at my parents' house, actually, and find some shit. So.
Right on. So I'll shoot you over. We'll get in touch later about all that. But so the last question I usually ask of the evening is, what has been the most fulfilling moment of your musical career?
Shit.
I think just being able to tour and going through that whole experience. Coming out of high school, like I had no fucking clue what I was gonna do for a living, and didn't really find out until after the band. But the band just gave you you get so who the fuck gets to go see all these crazy places and meet all these people at 20 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah, and even the fact that people do travel and stuff, you guys are just showing up unknowing where the fuck you're going, and it's like somebody's planned it all out for you, so you don't know what crazy shit you're gonna get into. That's an amazing experience.
Yeah, I agree. I can't pinpoint a specific thing more so than just the whole as a whole, that whole experience. Because we get to play, we were a part of a time in music and in that genre, and no social media, and we
no MapQuest.
We literally had to print out directions to everything and book our own tours and make our own merch, but we had a following, and we did that without all the shit that people have now. We made great friends. I can definitely say I wouldn't be where I am without the band, because it introduced me to design and the people that we met, and I don't know, it's definitely opened a lot of doors, so we're lucky we got to do what we did, for sure.
We're all still friends.
Yeah, we're all still friends.
Yeah, I've got that kind of impression from you guys. It's pretty cool that you're all still close, a lot of people don't have that. And it's kind of sad to see that people come together and they make such great music, and it seems like they have such a great time doing it. And then, we do interviews where people haven't seen each other in almost fucking 8 years, and then they sit down in a room together and have a fucking blast for an hour and a half or something, And it's always very fulfilling on my end to see that happen, and I'm just glad to see that everybody's still friends on your guys' end. So.
Oh yeah, it's always coming. It's easy to fall back in. We're still about to get in a band and deuce out and shred for a couple months.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to hear that there's a slight possibility of more Thumbscrew happening too. That's pretty rad.
It's definitely more than a slight possibility.
Oh, dude, that's dope.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening and whatnot. I'm happy to say that I made a friend tonight, so it's good to see you guys, and keep on keeping on, fellas.
Likewise, man. Thank you for doing this. Yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks, everybody. We love you.
Take it easy.
Later, dude.
All right. Such nice fellas. Let me get this transition going. Boom. That's so much smoother when Dylan's not here because I don't have to do this microphone bullshit. Alright, guys. Well, I don't have much else to speak on tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. I do not know if I have anything booked for next week yet. Let me check my calendar. I know that there is some very exciting things coming in the future. The rest of this month in September are going to be absolutely fucking awesome. I can assure you guys that, but I just don't know who I have in order yet. Oh, well, we haven't really announced it yet, and we don't have that many viewers right now, so I'll go ahead and announce it and let it be a surprise for the other people. But next week, we have members of the ensemble Johnny Cage is Fake. So, Johnny Cage is a fake, sorry. Yeah, so tune in, check that one out. It's gonna be fucking rad. Don't really have much else to say, and this week, like every week, I still don't have a fucking sweet sign off after a year and a half of doing the show. So I guess I'll just go ahead and say goodbye. See you guys next week. And yep, that's all I got to say. Later.